Hi everyone, this is Nicole Spohr and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be sharing my 10 cards created with the Spellbinders August 2020 card kit of the month called Around the World. In addition to the pattern paper and cardstock, custom dies that you can create this adorable globe with, the other supplies from the kit, the stickers, the dimensional butterfly stickers. I will be using some dies and glimmer plates from Spellbinders that are from my stash to kind of help tell the stories, I suppose, and build these cards, because I really love some nice basics, whether it be some rectangle glimmer plates, rectangle dies, or some glimmered sentiments. Plus, I'll be creating several of the cards with only card kit components. So let's get started with unboxing the kit and seeing what all is inside. When you open it up, there is this great little instruction sheet. Look at the gorgeous dimensional butterfly stickers, a fun stamp set, chipboard stickers, foam tape and double-sided tape adhesive, 10 cards and envelopes. The custom dies are literally my favorite thing this month. I love them. In fact, you're going to be seeing some more cards with this die set a little bit later this month. I love it so much. Plus, I created 3 cards with it just in this video alone. The pattern paper this month is phenomenal. Absolutely love it. Lots of definitely around the world themed paper, cardstock, foil card or mirror cardstock, and then of course the fantastic dies, pre-made die cuts that always come in every kit. If it's your first time here, I always like to kind of give my thought process when opening up the kit, and I like to separate everything out. There are always 2. I shouldn't say always. I think there are always 2 of every die cut, and I separate them out kind of by how I think I will use them. This also gives me a super great idea of kind of where I want to go first with my card making. I will often start with the pre-mades and then kind of go further into the custom cards. I'm going to do it a little backwards this month. I know I mentioned just a couple seconds ago how much I love the dies. I started with the dies this month. I will be implementing some of the pre-mades into those cards as well, but I love, love, love that globe. I think it's phenomenal, and so that's kind of where I went with this. Separating things out by florals. I knew I wanted to do a floral card, so you can see I'm grouping a lot of those things up there, as well as leaves. There's the large die cut sentiments. I will be using both Journey and Awesome. Let's go ahead and start building our cards. So of course, this is our die set. It can make a couple of really phenomenal scenes depending on how you want to use them. I will be combining this with the Essential Glimmer Rectangles and the Essential Rectangles Etched dies. So let's start with the Essential Glimmer Rectangle, and we are going to glimmer some of the pattern paper, the Around the World pattern paper from the kit, with the largest rectangle from this Glimmer plate collection. I know I use these a lot. It's because I like them a lot. I never use anything that I don't absolutely love. And so when I say something is a staple in my craft stash, it is. I use it even outside of my Spellbinders projects. I'll use it with other, say, Simon Says stamp projects, because I am such a huge fan. That little glimmered border adds an amazing detail to cards, and it even looks amazing glimmered over a pattern background. I think that's what's so fun. And that little camera foiled pattern paper background is darling. Now, once we have foiled our rectangle on this paper, I'm actually going to use 2 of the Essential Rectangles Etched dies to die cut this piece of cardstock. It's going to create an outer frame that has the glimmered frame in it, and then an inside panel. And it's all going to be one panel. You would not have to die cut it twice if you didn't want to, but I want to pop up the outer frame and lay the center frame flat to my card base, and then fill my frame with my globe. So that's kind of my thought process here with this card design. So let's go ahead and die cut that. And we've got our frame and that center panel. We're going to use all of that. Then I have my globe pieces. I did die cut these off camera. We are using cardstock and mirror cardstock included in the kit. So we have our light blue and navy for the globe. We have the gold for the stand for the globe and the airplane. And I want to just kind of go ahead and glue those two pieces together. And then you can see I'm holding up the frame. Let's go ahead and adhere our background piece to the center of a white card base. And then put foam adhesive on the back of the frame to pop it up a little bit. And that little bit of dimension adds a really fun touch. We're going to glue the globe then. Actually, we need to probably glue down the globe stand first. So I want to figure out where exactly I want this to go. And then we can start kind of putting it all together. So let's put a little liquid glue back behind this piece here. And then we'll put some back behind our globe, the rest of the stand. It's so easy to put together. I just love this. I think it's so, so cute and clever. I'm going to put a little foam adhesive back behind parts of the word awesome where it overlaps the frame. So the exclamation point in the letter A, we don't want to put anything back behind that other than a little liquid glue since it overlaps a dimensional frame already. This is going to make our sentiment lie flush with the card. And I realized I forgot to glue the globe down, so we probably better do that first. And there is the word awesome. Again, the foiling ties in so nicely to the foiling of the cameras. I stamped and embossed Good Friends Are from the stamp set included in the card kit on some of the white cardstock using a gold embossing powder. We're just going to trim that into a little strip, pop that up with foam adhesive. And the only thing left for this card then is to attach the airplane, also die cut from gold mirror cardstock, and then we're going to use a pre-made, which is the I heart here little flag arrow, which I think is fun, plus it adds a gorgeous little pop of color. And that will finish up our first card using the August card kit. Next, I did use the Essential Glimmer rectangle again on another pattern paper from the card kit, but we're going to build the kind of the paradise scene here, the little beach scene with sailboat for this globe. So again, the stand is die cut from gold mirror cardstock, but I have die cut the components for the background and the waves. I started with mint, and I actually didn't think the mint looked as great with the pattern paper as I thought it was going to. So we're going to go back and use the light blue. But I'm going to glimmer a sentiment from the More Sentiments Glimmer collection, which is one of my very favorites. I use it a lot in today's video, just so you can kind of see you get so many sentiments in this, and it works with all kinds of other sentiments. We're going to glimmer Hello Sunshine there. And then we are going to customize our scene, which was die cut from some of the white cardstock in the kit with Copic markers. One of my all-time favorite things to do. And I have listed the colors I am using across the bottom of the screen. We've got E53, 55, and 57 for the beach, sand, and trunks of the palm trees. We have YG 21, 25, and 17 for the tops of our palm trees. And I worked pretty hard to get a seamless blend here for the tops of my trees. And so I'm just going to keep kind of going over that. YG 17 and 21 are really hard to blend together without that mid-tone, the 25. But I wanted the center of each leaf to be kind of lighter. So that's why I laid that color down first. It's starting to come together. It's so cute, you guys. I love this. And then we have our water, which I did die cut from the blue cardstock, but I am going to add a little shading with BG 11 and 13. This is also going to be pulled up into part of the background panel because I think it looks like the sailboat is in the sand if you don't. So I'm just going to kind of go across here, adding a little bit more darker color. And then I am going to go back with BG 11 and 13 and just color over that. And it ended up working really good. I was afraid it wasn't going to look great, but I ended up really, really liking it. Just had to be persistent with my blending. There's a lot of colorless blender in BG 11, so it's going to wash it out, and I just went over it a few times until I got that color the way I want it to look. Then we can go ahead and adhere the little wave piece along the bottom of our circle. For our sailboat, I opted to go with a dark blue, B34 and 37, and then a yellow-red combination, YR30 and 31, so it would stand out against our cute little tropical scene. And I love the sailboat as well. Just the dies are fantastic. And keep in mind, this sailboat can be used with other die sets that you might have. So can the airplane. I really love that you can mix and match the dies with other things you might already have on hand. So I'll be sharing some of that a little bit later this month, as I mentioned earlier. So there'll be some additional ideas for using your dies from the kit. Let's go ahead and build up our globe. Isn't that so cute? There's some clouds too. I will be die cutting some clouds from some smooth white cardstock to adhere. We want to start with the base so that we can center that right above our glimmered sentiment so that we don't, start too low and accidentally cover the sentiment. So we're kind of working from the bottom up. We're going to add all of these great little components to build our globe scene. And then we are going to finish with another one of those arrows. So I actually used both of those I love here little flag banners. This one I'm going to pop up with foam adhesive, but I love the little pop of light pink. I think it works really nice for this card and just finishes off the design perfectly. Now I'm going to actually skip to the last card I created, but it does feature this die set. So I wanted to keep these all together in the video where I'm creating a shaker with the globe. So another way to use this die set. We have some of the airplane pattern paper from the kit trimmed to 4 inches by 5¼ inches, and we're going to die cut the center portion of our globe from this paper. So after I die cut this, you're going to see what I mean. And that is going to create the window for our shaker here. Then we want to take the outer ring and this die again and die cut this from the gold mirror cardstock. You can see I've already die cut the rest of my stand from the gold mirror cardstock. And we want to glue that in place. We want to make sure we glue down our stand first. So it's going to be this beautiful gold mirror frame and stand on the front of our card. And it's real easy then to just line this up. I always love a good shaker card. I realized when I created this, I don't think I have done a shaker card in a while. And so that was really fun for me to be able to do this shaker card today. I'm putting an acrylic block on top to help hold that flat while my glue dries. Then I'm going to back the frame piece with some acetate. We'll pop up foam adhesive all the way around. and then fill that shaker well with our shaker material. So I'm just using some nice flat little confetti today. I was going to try to fit that, and I realized that's not where the window's going to be, so it was kind of silly to try to fit that tiny little spot. Okay, we're going to fill this with some little confetti pieces, and then I opted to use some of the map paper, pattern paper back behind, which I love this paper with the peachy kind of color of our frame. We're going to remove the backing paper then from the foam tape. I only did a single layer because I'm using some really flat little sprinkles, shooting stars as my shaker material. But if you're going to use something a little thicker, like some cupped sequins or seed beads or something, I would probably do 2 layers of foam tape. I didn't want mine to be super high. I wanted it to still be fairly flat, so we're just using some nice skinny foam tape. Once we have all that peeled off, I am going to take my background paper, which is that map paper, and lay it over the background. And then that's what's going to poke through the globe, which is so cute. I really love how this looks. Let's just flatten out those sprinkles a little bit so they'll move freely with the card. And then you can just shake it up, and the more you shake it, the more they're going to move around. We're going to put adhesive then on the back of the entire panel and place it on our card front. Now we only have a couple things left to do here. We need a sentiment and then to finish embellishing our globe. And I don't want to completely cover up the globe, so we're going to add the die cut airplane, which is from some of that dark navy cardstock included in the kit. And I did add a little heart embellishment from my stash to the airplane in a nice neutral brown color. I thought I might use something colorful like red, but I didn't really like how that looked. So I'm going to keep it a little bit more neutral and go with brown. And then for our sentiment, we're going to glimmer the For Someone Special from the More Sentiments Glimmer collection on some of that navy cardstock and pop it in place right there underneath our globe. And then I thought I'd add more hearts, but I felt like that was just a little too much and a little too blah, I guess, for lack of a better term. So we're just going to keep it to that. So those are my 3 die cut cards with the exclusive globe dies that are included in this month's kit. Next, we're going to create a card that combines the pre-mades with pattern paper, a die cut greeting, and then a glimmered greeting, plus a little chipboard sticker from the kit. We're going to start by glimmering that Essentials glimmer rectangle on our pattern paper. Then I'm going to glimmer Time to Celebrate, again also from the More Sentiments Glimmer collection. All of my glimmered sentiments are from this single glimmer collection today. Glimmered both the frame and the sentiment with gold foil. There's a little overfoiling there that I'm just going to erase kind of carefully. And then I'm going to die cut this with my Essential Rectangles etched die, that largest rectangle die from the collection. You could also just trim that if you wanted to. And then off camera, I did die cut the Smile Sentiment. This is the Die Delights Bold Type Smile etched die from navy cardstock and gold mirror cardstock from the kit. We're going to layer those. And then we're going to tuck some of those pre-made leaves and a camera to the sides and to the top of that sentiment. So it's going to be Smile, Time to Celebrate. And I love the combination of elements here. I kind of kept trying to piece in or add in those little branches, but they just didn't really work. So I went ahead and left those out. And I like how this looks. It looks good, but I do think it needs just a little something underneath that little phrase. So we're going to take that chipboard sticker and glue that down. It is sticky, but I always worry that they're not going to stick really well. So I usually add a little dab of liquid glue underneath those to hold them down in place. And that is going to finish up our 4th card. So we have 4 of our 10 cards with this August kit. Next, we're going to create a card all from supplies from the kit. That's going to be pattern paper, cardstock, pre-made dies, and even some of the stamps. So we have a piece of that map pattern paper trimmed to a strip. We're going to mat it on navy and place it on our card front. And then before I attach the pre-mades, we're going to stamp the phrases "good friends are," and then the rest of the phrase, "the key to happiness," with some black ink. And we're going to do that kind of down near the bottom. And I put my die cuts out so I would have a nice guide to know where I wanted to do my stamping. And then the rest of our sentiment is going to be that relax die cut. And with the relax, we're going to tuck some fun dies around this. We have a couple of glasses with little umbrellas, little drink glasses. We're going to have an umbrella and then a stack of books. So over on the right side, we'll have the 2 drink glasses, and on the left, we're going to have that umbrella and a little stack of books there. I am working pretty quickly to because I'm using the liquid glue and I don't want it to dry while I tuck some of those elements underneath others. We're going to do another quick and easy card where I piece together different pattern papers from the kit. We're going to add a stamped sentiment from the Simon Says Stamp window frames stamp set. It's just a little tiny "thanks so much" greeting. And then I've used 2 different pattern papers. We're going to divide it with a gold mirror cardstock strip, and then we're going to tuck a bunch of little flowers and things across this border. So all of the rest of this is going to be pre-mades with lots of little, like a little wildflower garden, I would say. And then we're even going to add a butterfly accent with one of the pre-made butterflies, which was something I added kind of last minute. I really started with the flowers and worked to get a nice assortment. And I still was trying to add in that little black branch, but it just didn't seem to really work anywhere on my card the way I wanted it to. So I'm going to end up not using it, but I want the flowers to go pretty well all the way across this border. And I did hold off adding my gold foil strip until I have my flowers down. That way, if I need to kind of hide that at all, I can do that there. We're going to add our butterfly with foam adhesive squares and liquid adhesive back behind the center of the body. And that will be our 6th card today, so our 6th out of 10. This next card just took seconds to make. And that's going to be a great little map background. I used a different map paper. We're going to have another little text paper along the bottom edge. And then I'm going to build a cityscape with some of these pre-made building dies. We're going to add a chipboard taxi in front of that and finish with a die cut word that we're going to pop up with foam adhesive. So super quick and easy. This was probably the quickest card, one of the quickest cards I made. The next 2 cards are super quick too. But definitely a very quick and easy card. I love how these pieces all just kind of go together, and the journey serves as a nice divider between the upper part of the card and the lower part of the card without having to add a divider cardstock strip. A lot of times I'll add one, but I didn't feel like I needed to with this card. And again, this is very minimal. Everything is from the kit, with the exception of some foam adhesive, but everything, the card base, the pattern paper, the die cuts, all from the kit. Next, we're going to trim a pattern paper. I love the palm pattern paper. We're just going to trim that at an angle and adhere it along the bottom edge of our card, and then add a divider piece. And I only had like a small navy strip left, so I didn't have enough to put it all the way underneath. Plus it's kind of a waste of paper, so I trimmed it to a at an angle, and I'm just going to then snip that excess off. This is a super easy background. We're going to use the Hello Etched dies to add a great little sentiment from the gold mirror cardstock, and then the pattern paper. I just used some of that excess pattern paper to die cut the hello, and we're going to offset that and add it to the top of the card, and then we're going to embellish with one of these great little dimensional butterflies. And that's it. This is about as easy as it gets. here for that card, and I liked how that one turned out so well that I wanted to create another card that was similar, but instead of a die cut sentiment, we're going to foil a little sentiment and use a different pattern paper. So I loved the green palm kind of great background here, the leaf background. There's a black and white version that I think is just as beautiful, and we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to foil Just Because on our card. I used the paper as a guide to foil it at that angle with gold foil. We're going to add that. We're going to add a little gold strip. Again, I didn't want to waste a whole bunch of gold foil, so we're just going to tuck it under the edge. I've left it a little long so I can trim off the edges to make sure it's long enough to go at an angle. And this time we're going to add a little yellow butterfly. These butterflies are so gorgeous. I could see doing an entire set of like thank you cards with this style, using pattern papers from the kit and just foiling thank you over and over and over and using those butterflies. I think that would be super easy and great as well. Finally, we're going to foil Life is a Beautiful Ride. This is from the Stylish Script Collection Glimmer plate on one of the pattern papers. And this is another very, very easy card design. We're foiling it on the pattern paper. We're going to trim it down. We're going to mat this on some gold foil or gold mirror, pardon me, cardstock. We're going to pop up the little scooter pre-made die cut, and we're going to stamp some hearts from the stamp set around the sentiment and heat emboss with gold embossing powder to finish this design. Couldn't be any easier. We're going to just mount this strip on our white top fold card base, kind of down the center to keep it super, super easy. And that is going to finish off our 10 cards created with this month's card kit of the month from Spellbinders. Now I had a lot of the gold mirror cardstock left, so I did go ahead and use an entire piece back behind this strip. If you don't have as much left, you can always trim it into some thin strips to place along each side, or if you simply don't want to waste that, you can always do that as well. I tend to have a lot of it on hand and left over, so I was going for as fast and easy as possible. I am going to stamp those little hearts and add the gold embossing powder, and then I'll heat emboss them all at once. There was a little bit, when I add my embossing powder here at the top, because I used a little low tack tape to hold my glimmer plate in place when I was foiling, it must have left some residue on my pattern paper, and so I had the embossing powder stick to that. I'm using a dry paintbrush to remove that embossing powder before I heat set it. That way I don't have that messy little embossed look up near the top of my card. And then behind the scooter, just to give it some dimension, because this is a super clean and easy card, one of my best tips is to use foam adhesive. And I love to do that. I'm just going to put foam adhesive all over the back of this to make it a dimensional embellishment. Pop that in place. I thought that this glimmered greeting works perfectly with the little scooter. It also would work with the bike die cuts in the kit, and it is all finished. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for my 10 cards featuring the August 2020 card kit of the month called Around the World. The supplies I used to create my cards are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here are a couple more videos featuring Spellbinders club kits that you might be interested in. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell to never miss a new card making video. Thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll catch you next time.